Trying to figure out what to say to start these videos is always the hardest part, so I'll just say it. I suck at disc golf. I'm going to try to do something about that. So first, a little backstory. The title of this video is a bit deceptive. I don't know if I actually count as a noob, because I've been playing for probably 10 to 12 years. I don't really know, but a long time. Not seriously, but I've had discs. I've played somewhat frequently. You know, there's definitely been phases where, gone 6 months without playing. Not uncommon, but as of the last probably 8 months to a year, I've played pretty regularly, and I have not gotten any better. I am just kind of stuck. So I've decided to try to break that and stop sucking, and these are the ways that I'm going to try to do that. So the first thing is I need to decide how to gauge my progress, and the most simple, sort of straightforward way that I've come up with is with the PDGA rating system. So I'll say 900 is the goal. And so the first step of that is playing more rated rounds. Easy enough. Just sign up for tournaments, sign up for different rated events, and start playing. So I'm doing that. The next idea that I have to kind of improve my playing is to watch more YouTube videos, watch what people say I should do, and not just kind of buy all the high-speed drivers that I think look cool, go out and throw, and not pay attention. And the other thing that I really need to do is stop playing so much and start practicing. And that may sound dumb, because it did sound dumb to me when people used to say that, but it makes sense where if all you ever do is go out and play with your friends, you're just doing the same things over and over. You're never going to practice another shot. You're never going to try maybe a more risky shot or try a different disc, because you're going to do what you think works best in that situation at that round, because you're playing for score. And then also with practicing, the idea of field work, not just going to a course and throwing to a basket all the time, trying to learn the discs and trying to, just understand more of what makes a good shot, what shots can you do with certain discs, and all the things that I probably should have been doing for the last 10 years. Another really big thing I'm going to do is simplify my bag, and I've kind of already done that, and I'll show you it in the bag where I'm at now. The last 10 years of playing, I've had all sorts of discs, like everything from 14-speed drivers to crazy turbo putters with ridges on the side. I mean, just all kinds of discs, and it was always random. I would always step up to the tee, and it would be whatever, just my best guess. But now that I'm trying to understand more, and my bag is a lot more planned out, like even before I show up at the course, I have a bag that I feel like covers all the shots that I need to take and go very well with my arm speed and where I'm playing right now, not just where I want to be. Just because every N00b player has 14 destroyers doesn't mean I should have 14 destroyers. I just don't have the arm speed for that. So trying to be more realistic with my disc choices and simplifying my bag. So I'll go through my bag now. First, we got the Delta cart here. If you'd like to see a tour of the actual cart, let me know. Probably not, so I'll just stick with the discs, and we'll start at the bottom. So putting putters, I've got 175 gram DX AVRs, and this is a decision that I made. I've thrown all kinds of different putters. I've sucked at putting for a long time, and so I just decided I'm going to stick to one kind of putter, pick a mold, pick a plastic, and get a stack of them so I can actually practice, sit here in the yard and do putting practice. So went with the DX AVR because they're cheap, and the goal was to buy a lot of discs, and now I have probably 15 of them, 175 DX AVRs, and I'm constantly cycling through them in my bag. I don't really carry any super beat-in ones. Kind of keep, whenever they get more beat in, the top starts to get a little concave, and this part gets a little grippier and worn. So I want to keep the idea that I'm just going to be really consistent with putters. So to me, the way to stay consistent is always be throwing fresh putters. And because I have so many, I'm constantly cycling them and they stay fresh. So DX Aviar's putting putters. Next would be the throwing putters. And this is a spot in my bag where I think there's quite a bit of overlap, maybe in discs, but for me, I kind of find different shots. I'm grabbing different ones, but so I carry Rhinos, R Pro Rhino, very floppy disc. I'm really using this more for sticking to a green. I typically backhand this. I find I turn it over too much to forehand. Just my forehand's very inconsistent, but really am enjoying the R Pro Rhino's. Been carrying one around for a long time. Have a couple of these, but really this one I keep the very beat-in one. It works really well for me. Just kind of shorter backhand approaches. And then I've got this Glow Champion one with a custom die on it that I'll use kind of for more forehand approaches, and I will throw this off a tee if it's short enough, backhand, but forehand approach, big kind of Anheuser trying to get a soft landing, or anywhere where I feel like the R Pro doesn't need to, I don't need that stickiness of the R Pro to grab the green, I'll go for this one. Feel like it's a bit more stable. Well, it is more stable, and it can handle a bit more torque, I think. Next up, I've got two R Pro Pigs. They are different weights. I bought them to try the two different weights. I love this one at 175. Actually, the only disc that I have an ace with, so it's hard to take it out of the bag, but I don't know, there's a lot of crossover between the Rhinos and the Pigs. This one is 165. Don't find myself reaching for this that much, but if I'm throwing a putter off the tee, really anything 210 or less, I'm probably throwing a Pig. Just backhand, full power. It's just going to hold a line and will for sure finish to the left. They're very stable. So those are the Pigs. I carry two just in case I lose one, but I'm always reaching for the yellow one. For mid-ranges, I'll start with the things that I'm very certain of. I love KC Pro rocks. I've got two of them in the bag. This one, very beat in. I can throw it dead straight. A little bit of hyzer, it'll pop up. If I throw it flat, it might move to the right a little bit, but for the most part, this thing's going straight. And very, very trusty in tight woods holes. I'm grabbing this disc a lot. I keep a new one, and I'm constantly cycling this disc out to kind of keep it fresh, and I have quite a few of these. I'm throwing it when I need that sort of distance, a mid-range distance, and I need something that's going to go to the left. Don't really turn this over. I can turn this over if I really throw it on Anheuser. I do throw this Anheuser for big, long shots. It'll hold the whole way. Not throwing this one for Anheuser. When they're fresh, they hook to the left for me. And so two rocks, gotta have them. Next up, for the straight shots, I've got Star Mako 3s. Carry a 173 and a 175, and I have a few in between that I'm constantly cycling out with the new one. The new ones are dead straight, or really very stable. If you put it on hyzer, it's gonna hold hyzer. You put it on Anheuser, it's gonna hold it. It doesn't move as much as the rocks, so I'll really grab Makos when I'm feeling like I'm throwing well. If I'm getting my angles right, I can really do good things with these discs. But when I'm not throwing well, I'm really not grabbing these because I need something understable or overstable, something not just so neutral, because I need something to kind of move around and dodge the trees for me. This one is very beat in. I could do a whole video just on this disc and kind of the evolution of it. Logan will know what I'm talking about. But this one I can throw on a little hyzer. It will pop up to flat. Brand new ones, they're gonna stay on whatever angle you put it on. And this one, if I throw it flat, it won't turn over, but it'll push to the right and it'll never come back. So it'll just kind of keep that flight pattern going. Very useful when you know what you're doing with it, if, full power, like if you're expecting it to have that long push right, great shot to have. The new one, whichever new color I've got, but the new one in the bag is for dead straight when I'm feeling good with my angles. This is a lot more I guess consistent than throwing the beat in rock, because it's not going to move. I can put it where I want it, right through any gaps that I need. So Star Mako 3 must have in the bag. For understable mid-range, this is a bit of a overlap again. There's two molds that I'm kind of trying out. I have a Wolf and a Stingray, very similar flight numbers. The Stingray 4.5 -3.1. The Wolf is 4.3 -4.1. I like the Wolf. I like that it has this thumb track. I like the name. I can get it to go pretty far, but this is not really like trying for major distance. I'm just kind of control mid-range shots. But the Wolf, I like it. I want to like it. I don't know if I'm fooling myself. The Stingray, even though the turn number is one less, I find that it really will hook up more and go right. I find the Wolf goes right but starts fighting out of it sooner. Really both good, and I haven't thrown them enough to know. I do carry a couple of them in the bag, just depending. I'm trying to learn it, so one day I'll make a decision on which way I'm going to go. As of right now, if I had to choose, I'd go Wolf just for the name and the thumb track. Next up, fairway drivers. Pretty simple. I've got Leopards and Eagles. The Leopards that I have this factory second Leopard G-Star, really nice. A little bit, for me, I know G-Star is super understable, but for me, it's just slightly understable. I can get decent distance out of it. Really, I'm throwing this anytime I need to know that it's gonna stand up. Like if I don't release it perfectly flat, I just want to have something pop up and not fade too hard at the end. Really just kind of going for distance or just a straight shot. Really love a G-Star Leopard. Carry two of them. This is a G-Star Leopard 3, just a newer disc, brand new actually, 170 weight. Works well for me. I will actually throw this for distance a lot of the time. 7-speed seems to work well for me for distance, unless like I'm having a really good day and really getting a good rip. But same thing, I'm not really trying to hyzer flip this, mostly because I can't, but for throwing dead straight, having that little bit of movement to the right, and then just a soft, almost no fade, falling kind of straight forward. G-Star Leopard 3. More beat in, less beat in. It's kind of what the choice comes down to. Then I have this Glow Champion Leopard 3. I love this thing. It's way more stable, obviously, than G-Star, but if I release it flat, it flies the flight numbers. It'll scoot right, come left. I can really get a good flight out of the Glow Champion. I like Glow Champion plastic a little bit better than Champion. I've cycled a couple of Champions in and out of the bag, but the Glow Champ, I love the grip, and this is a good disc for me when I'm more in the open. I'll go for the G-Star plastic if it's tighter gaps, but if I'm just ripping, I'll go for the Glow Champ and just let it do what it does. Next up is Eagles. Both of these are very new. I keep losing Eagles for whatever reason. I would say Eagle is probably my most gone to driver. I have a DX one and a Star one. I had only DX for a while. There's one on the top of a tree, one in the water. I keep losing them, but I throw them a lot. They typically work well for me. No, it sounds crazy because I lose them, but I really like the DX ones. They beat in pretty quick, and I love the grip with DX plastic. And then the Star one is, especially this Star one, is super flat and super overstable. So I'm using this more for big hyzers. Leopard's more for straight shots. I will flick these sometimes, but typically I need something a little bit faster to kind of make up for my lack of control with the flick. But yeah, so DX Eagle, Star Eagle, mostly when I need a left finish with a fairway driver, I'm grabbing these. All right, and for distance drivers, we'll start with understable and then go kind of by speed. So I've got a G-Star Sidewinder. I have a Champion Sidewinder as well that's sometimes in, sometimes out of the bag. 9-speed distance driver, really good for headwind for me. I know it sounds crazy, but really I'm going 7-speed more times than not, even on an absolute max distance drive. This I will get to move all over the place. I can hyzer flip it up to straight and it lands pretty straight, or I throw it flat for a big long flight. G-Star Sidewinder really works well. Yeah? Okay. All right, next up we've got Thunderbirds. This one Logan gave to me, Champion Thunderbird. Very stable. If I'm flicking off of a tee, I'm getting this. This is the disc I'm going to take. Use this for big spike hyzers. Really kind of a utility disc. I'm not really just going for it off of a tee for a left finish or a max distance, but very handy. I will throw it for flick rollers sometimes, or even turnover backhand rollers. Handy disc in the bag. And yeah, Champion Thunderbird. Next I've got a Pro Plastic Thunderbird. This one I will drive with 175, so a bit heavy and high speed for me, but it's really consistent. I can flick it, but it's a little less stable than the Champion Plastic. So mostly I'm using this for backhands, headwind drives. Really trusty disc. I probably super trusty because I'm not throwing it fast enough, but it's always going to finish left, and if I release it on a little bit of anhyzer, I can get quite a bit of flight out of it. Release it flat, it's not going to go very far, but it'll fade left, and then again, like same with the Champion, big hyzer shots. I won't really throw this one for spike hyzers. I'm mostly grabbing the Champion to play over the top of stuff or things like that, but Thunderbirds, 2 of them in the bag. And last but not least, I carry a G-Star Mamba. This one's fairly beat in. Sometimes I'll carry a little bit newer one, but it doesn't really change the flight characteristics I've noticed. It's just different colors. I thought it might matter more. Really, I'm only grabbing this on extremely long holes. If I'm throwing really well, if my arm's going fast that day for whatever reason, I can throw it flat and get a full flight out of it. Hi. So yeah, G-Star Mamba, the only max distance driver I have in my bag, 11 speed, and yeah, that's what I got. All right, so that's what I have in the bag. I feel like that covers every shot. Understable, neutral, overstable of all 3, or I guess all 4 ranges, from putters, mid-range, fairways, and the 1 max distance driver. Let me know if you see any holes in the bag, something that might fit really well. But other than that, I'm just going to try to stick to the plan and get to that 900 rating.